Hi and welcome back to another gameplay video. Last time we got the bracelet to leave this place so we could get out from the camp. So... Ooh.
Oh no! Here comes that sensation again. It's like floating in a dense liquid while everything around me is transformed.
Whoa.
Good God. I think I'm starting to lose my mind.
Okay, so I think we try this bracelet on the sentries. See if we can leave.
Go through that gate, and I'll blow your head off with one shot, rat.
Do you need to get a closer look at what I have on my wrist?
Wait a minute. Look, he's got on one of those ID bracelets the camp moles wear. Those cockroaches are very useful to us in here. Lower your gun and let him leave.
You heard him. Get out of here, rat.
Nice. See here, where can we go? Can go into that part there. We can go to the barbed wire. We can go over there. We can go up to the city. See where. Waist heap, dark tunnel.
In the distance, the other end of this tunnel fades out of sight among the shadows. Where does it lead?
Good question.
A few yards away I can see a great mass of trash, mud, and plant matter that accumulated in there in the years since this water outlet was last cleaned. Ugh. Even from here I can smell the stench coming from inside.
See if we can find something here.
Impossible. It's beyond my reach. The bars are keeping me from getting there. Thick bars at the end of the pipe block the opening to the outside. Extremely hard and solid, I'm afraid.
Okay. So, how do I leave? Ah, okay. See, try over here then. Ah, the tree.
This hole in the ground is steep walls of mud and earth. The distance to the bottom is several yards. How the hell was this cesspit formed? It's the charred remains of a tree trunk, fighting to keep from being devoured by the enormous hole in the ground. For the moment, it's holding its own. It seems firmly rooted in the soil.
Yeah. So it doesn't really seem like the world out here is much better. See.
It looks like there are some chiseled stone structures sticking out of the water. What are they? The remains of columns, perhaps? And what are they doing sunk here in the middle of nowhere? It seems like a small fragment of one of them is loose.
Let's see if we can pick it up.
I can't reach it from here. Maybe I should find a way to get to the bottom of this enormous hole first. I suppose the rain has been flooding the pit little by little. This water is so dark you can't even see the bottom.
Okay. So, yeah. Yeah, we try the city then.
So, I enter the city. It welcomes me with its most merciless and bitter grimace. What I see before my eyes is not what I expected. Doomsday made it here, too. Even if no one in the refugee camp knows it yet. Damn it. The city looks as bruised and battered by the catastrophe as the rest of us.
Well, if you're trying to go inside there with that huge clipper, then you should be done by now. It's a little lock.
It's the silhouette of the soldiers guarding the street from around the corner. It seems like those uniformed psychopaths' rifles are projected onto each and every corner of the city.
Okay, city dwellers. Ruined church.
The traffic in this part of the city must have been especially heavy, but now you can barely hear the sound of the few army vehicles still circulating in the surrounding areas. Judging from what remains of the stained glass windows and the murals, this pile of rubble must have been a place of worship before the Great Wave struck. Now it's one of the most badly damaged buildings in the area. There are hardly any walls still standing. It's a poster advertising an insurance company. The slogan is, "Tomorrow comes today." There's something familiar about this poster. I'd even swear that I actually remember it. For the first time since I woke up, I can say that I can remember something from my former life. Something hazy, related to this image. But what is it?
Okay. Tomorrow comes today. And we see here it said something on us. Kronos or something, perhaps?
It's a poster advertising an insurance company. The slogan is, "Tomorrow comes today." There's something familiar about this poster. I'd even swear that I actually remember it. For the first time since I woke up, I can say that I can remember something from my former life. Something hazy, related to this image.
Okay. Maybe pick it up.
Dozens of posters, all shredded, charred or half torn off. This wall must have been used for advertising before the Great Wave.
Okay.
A super high-tech security system is preventing access to this door. A chain and a padlock. Primitive, but effective.
Yeah, probably. Seems very effective against his feeble attempts.
A chain with a padlock. Huh, but I'm no Houdini. Let's not waste any more time on this. What the hell is that old man trying to do with that enormous pair of bolt cutters? He can hardly get his hands around them.
Yeah, speak to him.
Help me, please! Help me! Don't let them find me in the street after curfew. They'll take me to the refugee camp. Help me, please! But don't make any noise. There's a patrol just round the corner.
Okay.
But what is it you need me to do?
It's almost curfew. I need a place to sleep. I need a place to hide, or they'll send me to the refugee camp. Don't you understand?
You need a roof over your head, and you don't have anywhere to go.
I used to, but it doesn't exist anymore. I owned an apartment a few blocks from here. The block was badly damaged by the Great Wave, but it was still standing.
And what happened to your home?
This morning, we had to evacuate the area in a hurry. We ran out in the streets with whatever we had on. Apparently, the foundation was starting to crumble. And a few hours later, all that was left of my home was a pile of smoking rubble, with 40 years of memories buried beneath it. But I can't let them take me to the camp. I need to get into another house before the curfew. Please, help me.
Okay. Need to know more about this.
What is all this about a curfew?
At curfew, the soldiers want the streets cleared. And the way they see it, if you're out on the street after curfew, it means that you've got nowhere to go. You don't have a home. You don't belong here. And that makes you a rat. And so they take you to the refugee camp. I can't go to the camp. Understand? I can't go there.
Okay. Well, let me try that.
Okay, give me those bolt cutters. I'll see what I can do.
This house was empty, but the army has sealed it off. If I can just get this padlock off before curfew, I'll be safe. I need to get in here. But please, don't make too much noise. If the soldiers find us, they won't hesitate to kill us.
Impossible. I'm sorry. I can't do anything with this.
I need to get in there. I need to get in.
Okay, so those bolt cutters seems to be a bit dull then, because they should really do the trick. Know from experience that those are very effective against chains. Okay,
I'm looking for a
knows
place.
anything?
Something like a pharmaceutical warehouse. Would you know anything about that?
I don't really know. There's a small medical center just outside the city limits. I suppose you mean that, right? They built it in a hurry, just knocked it together after the Great Wave. No one really knows what it's for, but there are vehicles going in and out of the place all the time. Whatever they're doing in there, they're keeping it very secret. Not even my daughter would tell me what goes on inside.
Did you say your daughter?
Yes, my daughter. My little Uma. She works there as a nurse. I'm afraid she left me. I suppose she got tired of living with a frail, sick old man like me. Because one day she simply left the house, and I haven't seen her since. It's been months now. I think she was right to leave me. These times are hard enough. You don't want to burn yourself with someone like me.
I'm sorry. I can't help you.
Help me, please.
Okay. Talk to the dwellers, I guess. Look
A
at the
few
main
buildings are
streets.
still standing, but most of them are propped up or about to fall down, with a handful of city dwellers in the street that look like automatons or sleepwalkers, but there's no doubt about it. I'm on the 5th Avenue of Doomsday City.
Okay.
3 people warming themselves by the fire. They stare into the flames, as if their thoughts were also burning in that rusty old drum.
Let's speak to them.
Hello, friend. You look lost. Come over by the fire.
It's dying down, but maybe it'll last until curfew.
As long as those uniformed psychopaths don't decide to end our little get-together first, of course.
Hey, look! One of those magic bracelets from the camp. They say that place is a real hellhole. A kind of living death. So, you've come back from the dead. Do they call you Lazarus?
Well, you could put it that way.
Yeah. Perhaps. It's, a little bit too close to home. With all this flying and so on. See here. Let's say something about curfew. When does it start? Why are you afraid of the soldiers?
Why are you afraid of the soldiers? I'd heard that things function better here.
I don't know where you heard that, friend, but whoever told you that was lying. Here, things are very ugly and getting uglier every day. Everything's in short supply: water, food, medicine.
We have a surplus of just 2 things: misery and violence. Life is cheap here, and getting cheaper all the time, especially since the army took over.
The army. I see. And what happened to the other authorities? The politicians? The laws?
Those are distant memories from the old world, my dear. Get them out of your head, because all that collapsed like a house of cards. Since the Great Wave, no one's got any plan, strategy. We're all adrift.
He's right. The most reliable thing we have left is what you see around the corner. Armed teenagers in uniform on the streets, on the rooftops, just as scared as we are, or more, and shooting anything that moves.
I think our common destiny is to finally die of starvation, of disease, or boredom. I don't know which of the 3 options I find the most cruel. Who knows? Maybe the most sensible thing is to organize a group excursion and break into Suicide Park.
Suicide Park. Don't call it that. It's not funny. That name's as stupid as that hospital they built in such a hurry next to it. It's crazy. The entire city is starving and sick, and the soldiers keep those medical facilities locked up like Fort Knox.
Okay, Suicide Park has been mentioned a lot, so it sounds like a really weird place. Why are people wanting to go there? We need to go to these facilities.
But what good is it having medical facilities if no one can use them? I don't understand.
No one does, friend, but that's the way it is. I don't know why anyone would want to go into that building, but I can assure you that they're not going to get treated for anything in there, not even for a miserable cold.
Besides, it's a real fortress. The person would be more likely to come out sick from an overdose of gunpowder and lead. You know how it is, dear. There's no cure for love or death. Hey, I like that last phrase. It would make a good opening line for a story.
Oh, will you shut up for once, Ramon? Don't pay any attention to him. In the old world, he earned his living writing stories, and he still thinks that all that waste paper might someday be useful after the Great Wave.
And in fact, it is. A good deal of that scrap paper is fueling this bonfire right now, dear. So I can consider my literary career to have been worthwhile.
Yeah. Hopefully he wrote something that was worth reading as well, so yeah. Writing stuff should be a good career, I think. Let's see here. Curfew. We still need to know how to get to those facilities, so what about this park?
Did you say Suicide Park? Someone in the camp told me about that place.
And the first dark stars come out to hang from the sky. We could sit and count them together, you and I.
When the sun departs from Suicide Park. Yes, I recognize the song. But what the hell is it? Is there really a place with that name?
Yes, it exists. After the Great Wave, and when things were starting to get really ugly here, the weakest among us eased their suffering with a bullet, by overdosing, or by jumping from high places. You know how it is. All those dark stars had a hard time finding a reason to go on living.
There was a terrible wave of suicides, and there still is.
The problem is at some point a problem arose. How should I put it? A serious logistical problem. Access to drugs and firearms became practically impossible. So the easiest thing was to grab a rope or a belt and go to Suicide Park after dark.
There was a time when it was hard to find a free branch anywhere in the park.
The suicides in the area multiplied at such a rate that the army closed down the park. They said for public health reasons.
For months, the only thing blooming in that park were the corpses of the hanged. The place became more like a theme park. Lots of fun for everyone.
I told you not to make jokes about that. Don't you have any respect for anything?
Of course not. That was one of the many things I lost in the Great Wave. And one of the things I missed the least, believe me.
Okay, so it was what I thought, that a lot of hanging people, and yeah, that should be a health issue. If you have a lot of rotting corpses, you don't want too many people around. See here, see more about
You were
curfew.
saying something about a curfew. What time does it start exactly?
Well, it depends on the mood of the soldiers in this zone. But you know it's time to go home when they start taking their guns out of their holsters.
Today they're extremely jumpy. I don't think it'll be long before they start insulting people and hitting them with their rifle butts.
You guys are awfully hard on them. It's just their crude way of showing us affection.
Oh, shut up. In any case, you don't have to worry. That bracelet means you don't have to hide from them. You know, that's one of the privileges that comes with it.
And you? Do you people have to hide?
We try to stay out of their way. The first rule is, be home before curfew. Anyone who isn't gets dragged off to refugee camp. That's one of the strictest laws the Great Wave imposed upon this city.
Okay. And doing other things. How do you get news from outside?
And do you know how things are elsewhere? Do you get news from outside?
I'm afraid not. With no communications or transportation, and with the army on every corner, we are totally cut off.
Who cares anyway? When you don't know from one day to the next if you're going to be alive, there's no time to worry about what happens 100, 1,000, or 100,000 miles away.
I understand. Thanks for the chat.
Thanks for the company, friend.
Okay, so I think we will go to the church next. If you like this video and this content, please give it a like and I see you in the next video. Cheers!